Hi, and welcome to VFA Learning. In this video, we're going to provide you with an outline of EDUongo, which is your student learning management system. So this is where you will find all of your assessments, observations, and an outline of what will be covered in each session. So if you go to the VFA Learning website, scroll down to the bottom, and you will get to Student Portal. Click on the student portal, and then from there you'll be prompted to enter your login details. So enter your email address and your password and then click on login. From there, that'll take you to your main page. So on this welcome page, there are a few things you'll be able to see, but the main things you'll need to worry about is courses and my profile. So if we click on my profile, this is where you can then put in some details about who you are, but you can also change your password if you need to. If I click back on these 9 squares at the top, that takes me back to that page, and then from there I can click on courses. Once in courses, this will then show you all the courses that you are enrolled in. So click on the course. In most cases, you'll only have 1 or possibly 2 courses there. And then this will take you to your main page. So what I'm going to do is help you to navigate through this correctly. So your first page is going to be a welcome, and you'll be able to just see a little bit of information on here. Down the bottom, you'll be able to click on this link, which will take you to the student handbook. So this is really important for all the information that you need to know about the course, but even how to go about certain procedures at VFA. The next part is our feedback and complaints log. So this is where you can give feedback or make a complaint or an appeal against any decisions with the assessments or anything about VFA learning. So please watch the video that's attached to this and make sure that you read the VFA Learning Complaints and Appeals Policy and Procedure to make sure you're following everything correctly. There's a link that you can click on that'll take you to Fresh Desk where you can put in your feedback or your issue or complaint. And then there's also a link to the policy and procedure. The next one down is My Calendar. Now, My Calendar will give you an overview of every session and every assessment that's due throughout your course. So this is really helpful, particularly if you know that you're going to be away for some reason, and that might be something like school holidays. So if I have a look at one of them, on Wednesday for this class, session 18 is my session, but then I can also see that Health Support Assessment Task 1 written questions is going to be due. So it's a good way just to be able to see an overview of everything. If I click on that session, I can then see a few things. So I can see what session number this is. Up here, it's got administration skills, so I can see what cluster that's all a part of. I can see my learning outcomes. I can see the class focus, information on the cluster. This will appear whenever this is a new topic as well. And then I can see what assessments I'll be able to start on, as well as what PowerPoint presentation will be shown in class that day. So everything you need is all on that same page. In my newsfeed, this is where you might be able to have a discussion with the trainer, or the trainer might put something out there for everybody in the class. So it can be a message, but it can also be files that you might need to download or a link. If we go to all sessions, this will have each of the sessions in numerical order all the way to the end of the class. So you'll be able to see what session number it is, and you'll be able to see what cluster that falls into. The other thing you should see underneath it is the start date and the end date. Okay, so that's going to be the date that that class will be on. If I click on that, let's go back to session 18, which is the one that we did before. I can see that same information that I did when I went into my calendar. So use whichever one makes more sense to you, but you're going to get the same information. If your course has online sessions, you'll be able to access this in the All Sessions tab as well. So with this course, I can see session 3, massage treatment is the cluster that it is, and then it's got ONL, which is our abbreviation for an online session. So if I click on this session, pretty much the same as the other. I can see that it's session 3. I can see a session overview, the learning outcomes. I can see summary and key points, the knowledge and skills that I should be acquiring through this session. What's different about the online sessions is there's an arrow here. So if I click on this arrow, this is then when I've got access to a whole heap of different information. So I've got the videos that I want to be watching as well. So these videos will be our interactive sessions, which is basically like the PowerPoint that you might do in class, but it's on here for you to do. And it's really easy just to go through, click on next, and it's going to go through all the information. It's telling us what we're going to cover, our definitions, and then you might get to a slide such as this one. Okay, so complementary natural medicines include, and it's telling us a topic, but then it gives us an arrow. So if we click on that, it's going to give us some extra information. And then I can click on this video within it and play it. And this is going to tell us information.
The field of Chinese acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM.
Once we've watched it, close it down, go through the next one until we get to the end. And once you're at the end, it'll tell you that you've reached the end of this session. And just to click on the X button to exit. The other thing you might find in here is different interactive videos. So these are additional videos that can help you to get a better understanding of something. So once you've registered your textbook, which will get covered in the textbook section, I can click on this link and it's automatically going to take me to the pages that I need to know, that I need to read for this. Once I've done all of that, so once you've had a look at all the interactives, read the pages that it says in your textbook, you can then go and take the quiz. So the quizzes are there just to see if you've understood what was in that session. It's generally around 10 questions. Sometimes there might be a little bit more or less, but again, you'll be able to see question number 1 of 10. Answer the question. It's just a true false one. Put it in and then click on next. Once you tick an answer, it'll have a little black dot in the middle of it. And then that's it. So with our online sessions, they've been included so that it means you don't have to come into VFA as much. So for those that have really busy lifestyles, this is a really, really good thing. So you can do this from any computer as long as you've got internet access. Now, an online session is designed to replicate an in-class session. So we do recommend that you're spending about 3 hours per session. And now that might include just looking at all the content, but it might also include starting on some of the assessments. In assessments, you'll then be able to see every assessment that you'll be given in the course. Now, just because they're there doesn't mean you can start on them straight away. They've all got a start date and then a finish date on them. So if I have a look at this first one, Understanding Health, I can see the start date on it is the 28th of November, but it's not due until the 15th of May. Now, some of them will have a nice big time period for you to work on them, and that's because you might not know all the information that's needed at the start of the course. But by the time that assessment is due, you should have covered all of that information in class. And then you'll have other assessments, so Understanding Health, Assessment Task 8 Reflection for this class. It's released on the 1st of May and it's due on the 15th of May. So a couple of weeks to get that one completed. So again, with all of our assessments, you'll be able to see what the assessment's called, when you should be able to start it, and when you should be able to finish it. So this is really good to help you prioritise when you're going to get stuff done. If you know you've got a lot of work on at one point, have a look at what's going to be due first. Or if you know you haven't got many assignments at the moment and you want to make a start on things, again, use this as a way to do it. Once you have completed an assessment, you have a look at this line under here, you should see that that should turn green. If we look at the assessments as well, if I go back into this understanding health written questions, I click on that task and it's going to have the instructions of what needs to be done. So this is then telling me to click on begin quiz to start. So yours will say begin quiz, mine's a little bit different. And the information's all in there. So up the top, you'll be able to see question 1 of 18. So you know there's going to be 18 written questions. It'll have what the question is asking for, and then you'll be able to put in your answers. Once that's done, press next. And keep going through it until you get to the end. Once you get to the end, you'll be able to press submit on that. I can go back out to my assessments. If I look at this next one, Understanding Health Assessment Task 2, Assignment 1, it's got my instructions. Describe the key functions of each of the below systems and the structures involved. Explain how each system contributes to the maintenance of a healthy body, approximately 100 words for each. And so it's got all the systems. But like in the observations, most of the assessment tasks should have a video as well. So this video is really good for when you're not in class and the trainer may have explained it. If you watch this video, it's going to help you to understand the assessment task a little bit more. This one again, say to begin quiz, and you could attach it there. If I have a look at this assessment, this one's going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to click on it. Again, it's got all the instructions that you need, and it's got 3 different parts. It's still got the video for you to be able to watch to help you. And this one here is going to say submit assignment. So this one's not set up like a quiz. This one here, you're going to have to upload a document. So if we click on that and we go to choose file, this is where you'll then be able to choose what file you want to attach. So click on it, I can see it up here, and then just press submit. Okay, and that'll automatically go to your assessor. If we have a look at this other assessment task, again, same thing. So it's got the student instructions, it's got a video to help explain it to you, but it's also got a template. So this is where we would download that template again, and we would fill in the template, save it, and then we can upload that in submit assessment in the same way that we did the last one. So they're the 3 main types of assessments that you will come across. In the observations, there'll be observations that you need to do as part of your course. What your trainer will do is they will be using this to mark your work. Anytime you know there's an observation, go in, have a look at what the task is going to ask you, and quite often there'll be a video that's going to explain it as well. From there, if there is any templates that you need to attach as part of the observation, you'll be able to download them as well. So if you click on this little box here, that'll allow you to download it. And then we can open it up and you'll see the template that's to be used for that. The other thing to familiarise yourself with the observations is down here where it's got rubrics. So if you click on rubrics, you'll be able to see a checklist, again, of what your trainer is going to be looking at. To make sure that in your observations you are covering each of these. If we click on the grades tab, this will give you an overview of all of the assessments. Again, the start date and the end date of them, the status, your grade, any feedback, but you'll also be able to see your past submissions of this as well. So once you've handed something in, if your trainer has marked it and it is correct, this box will turn green and the grade next to it will say satisfactory. Once you submit something but your trainer hasn't assessed it yet, it'll be grey and say submitted. And if you've got something incorrect and that needs to be fixed, it'll turn orange and say reopened. Right? And in most cases, your trainer will have left a comment saying what needs to be fixed with that. If I click on the submission history, there I can see what was assessed in there and at what time. Okay, I can see who the teacher was that looked at it as well. Yeah. If your course has an online textbook, you'll be able to access this through My Textbooks. So if you click on that, you'll then see what textbooks you've got available. Clicking on that textbook will then take you to a page where you're going to have to just log in and register, so just using your VFA details, and then it should open up to the online textbook. So this is really good because it means you don't have to worry about bringing in your heavy textbooks with you to class. And in most cases, you should have a copy of this textbook at your academy that you can use in class if needed. So we've got our home library, and this is where you'll see any of the books. All right, so I can see that I've got access to all of these books at the moment. If I go back into that textbook, I can then see my table of contents. I can search for different sections. I can create little notes that go with it as well. I can see the pictures that come from different parts of the textbook as well. And I can then create some flashcards so you can make them as a really good study tool for you. If I go to the table of contents and I know that I want to have a look at preparing for the massage practice, I click on it and it's really easy to go to what section you want. So all the information is here. So where possible, try to use your textbooks before just using the internet, and use the internet if it's not in your textbooks. If you have any questions on any of this, please feel free to chat with your trainer and they'll be able to provide further information.